All right, C1x Road launch day 29.5. Very short break between this and the end of my last video. Hopping right back on. I literally just finished uploading the first video. YouTube's still showing. Let's restart the screen capture. Was just showing that last video going up. It's been maybe 30 minutes. We're going to try and finish the stat calculations here. So in the last video, we finished these four. We already had the round grade. We're now calculating total shots thrown, average shots per hole, and the putting comeback rate. Bar indicators for typical putting distances. So I think just going to do this. I don't really want to change what I already have. Not yet at the moment. If I run into performance issues, I can look down the road at how to simplify, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I don't think so. Putt distances log. Give me that shot sequence. Let's go. Excuse me. Putting distances is equal to 0. So we're going to have a value here for each putting distance. I think this is how I'm going to want to do it. Maybe not. One thing I am thinking of right now, metric never updates on this. They're if someone is in the metric system, putting distance is still showing feet. All right. All right, so that's going to be my putting distances for each shot. Let's go. Maybe we just do it like this. If all labels, what was that called? Putt distance options. Contains shot sequence shot. And then we're going to throw in a for loop here. Var distance, putting distance is length. No. Well, yeah, let's do this one. Distance plus plus if is equal to putting distance options distance, putting distances distance plus plus. Yep. And then at the very end of this, we're going to return putting distances. That's going to be it. Putting comebacks, I just copied from that, which was good. I should be doing the same thing here for the putt distances. Let's do that. Putt distances log. We only need shot data there. Yeah, create a new variable up here. distance counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 0 to 11. 55 to 66. Total putting distance counts will go right here. I'm going to do a for bar I equals 0 plus plus. Yeah. Good. And then down here we've got total putting. So now we are calculating the number of putts attempted, right? Attempted at each distance. Sit here and slurp while I'm filming. All right. So I think I'm good with that. The bar indicator, that'll be a graphic side, but we've got the typical putting distances calculated. Better front nine or back nine player. So this is going to need to be, I've got number of holes. I'm already pulling in user hole scores and pars. So let's go set of total strokes here. Let's I'm gonna list these separately actually, just because they're new. Help me track them easier, I think. What do I want to call this? Front 9, back 9 metric 0, 0. And then, so if I take the number of holes and we divide it by 2. So if number of holes 2 is not equal to bar hole to ignore if number of holes modulo, I forget what that symbol is called, I think I'm totally butchering that there, is not equal to 0, meaning that there's an odd number of holes on the course. Then hole to ignore, no, it's equal to, what does that do? I don't know. What does to division in Flutter? Three. 3.5. So what is, just to verify, 19, 2 is 9. So I can always do is equal to number of holes divided by 2 plus 1. Or no, I can just do divided by 2. If hole to ignore is not equal to hole, then we're going to go if hole is less than number of holes divided by 2. So 19 divided by 2, let's say it just gives me 9 anyways. If hole 8, which it would be, if hole is 9, then we would be talking about hole 10, and that would not be the case. Trying to just set up the code to where holes like 1 through 9 count on the front 9, and then 10 through 18 count on the back, and that accounts for courses where there's not a number of holes as well. If hole to ignore is not equal to hole, so if like there's 19 holes, I'm going to count 1 through 9 as the front 9, I'm going to count 11 through 18 as the back 9, I'm going to ignore hole 10. I don't want to throw it like one way or the other. I don't want things to be lopsided, just nice and even. I think I'm empty here now. So on a 19-hole course, I don't know why I'm struggling to think about this so much. I'd have 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We would ignore 9. And then I'd have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. As in terms of what my hole index would be. So I'd have front 9 here. I'd have back 9 here. I would be ignoring 9, which is what that would give me. So if hole is not so 18, just to verify here, 18 to would still be 9, correct? Okay. So number of holes divided by 2, 18 or 19 would give me 9, either way. If it was 18, it would work fine. We're going to ignore hole 9 if it's odd. So if hole is less than, (0 to 8, I'd be ignoring hole 10. And then else. Front 9, back 9 metric 0 plus equal to exactly. And exactly. So I think that works. Print hole, yeah. Perfect. Add those print statements just so I can actually have the value here. So now I'm calculating my front 9, back 9 metric. So we can go add that down here as well. Front 9, back 9 metric. Okay, better front 9 or back 9 player. We have the calculation how to determine that. Frequency of each score to par for a total round. So single round calculations is not going to matter here. Because this is solely for the all stats view. All round calculations. I've got user scores. Return combined stats. So maybe I will keep this as a single round calculation and then I'm getting user score passed. On my round scorecard view. Not update round score. Alright, let's just have ChatGPT put together. I have a golf round score. And I need to convert it from an int to a string. It can either be under par, -1, even par, no, from a string to an int. Even par, even, or above par. Numbers can obviously differ. Write a function to do this. That would parse 1. It won't have any issues with the plus. Is that what trim does? Okay. I can add this as a individual stat calculation. Parse golf score. And then on single round calculation, not currently using that. Let's go with var user round score integer is equal to parse golf score user score. And then I'll return this down here. User round score integer is fine. User round score integer. And so I'll just need to add those to an array as, I guess that's going to be, that will be interesting here. I'm always adding 2 there. There is no histogram of of round scores. I'm not sure how to get around that one. Because I don't necessarily need it for the single round calculation. But for the all round calculations, that's where I'd want to display this value. And it's not something I want to combine. I don't want to replace. Replace scores. I could have a tournament score to par. Not something I have currently. Meaning that if I play 2 rounds in the app, on one round I shot a 7 under, on the next round I shot a 4 over. Regardless of course, my overall tournament score to par over those 2 rounds would be 3 under. Just combining them. At which point my all-round calculations would work for it. So it'll be an issue of using this for, how do I get it to persist? I could always like add extra code to this, make it return a new argument, have it just add values to an array instead of overriding them by summing. Oh, I could do this. Actually, I do have a way to do that. I forgot I was in my stat organization. I'm setting different stat types and telling it what to do. So I could create a new type, essentially. Okay. Call the type like history or something. Update multi-round calculations as needed. All right, so I actually added another stat on top of this one, but I think it'll work. Birdie conversion rate. All right. Var birdie conversion rate is equal to birdies times inside of C2 and C1 and C2 and regulation. And regulation times inside of C2 and regulation. And then I would just need to make sure that I'm clamping that. Can't go over 100. Like if they birdie because they threw in from 100 feet, and that takes them over 100% birdie conversion rate. That's something I would want to track. All right, so birdie conversion rate for birdie conversion rate 0 plus plus. Actually, no. Aces will not count. Albatrosses will count. Aces, you cannot be inside of C1 or C2 in regulation. But I guess var in C2 in regulation on this hole equals false. In regulation regulation on this hole equals false. All right, let me true, true. Okay, and then down here, still not going to count it for aces because you can't be in circle 1 or circle 2 for regulation an ace. But if C2 in regulation on this hole, or we'll just go if C1 in regulation on this hole, ooh, hold on, I am missing something here. Needs to be equal to true, and I need to add to the birdie conversion rate. Birdie conversion rate 2 plus plus. How do I want to display that? If they're inside of both circle 1, if they're inside of C1 in regulation, obviously they're inside of C2 in regulation. But do I just count that for C1? Or do I count it for C2? I think I count them separately. Birdie conversion rate 1 plus plus. Birdie conversion rate 2 minus minus. So if I'm also on C1 or regulation, then I'm going to just subtract that value right back. And I am going C1 first and then C2. C2, C1. All right, so I'm updating the times inside of regulation. And then if C1 in regulation on this hole, actually I don't need that at all. I do want to the way I'm setting this up, I'm not going to show them separately. And I need to show them separately. All right, so let's go birdie conversion rate and C1. Birdies after being in C1 and regulation. C2 and regulation. All right, I'm still going to use those two. If birdies, comma, attempts. So attempts is going to be 1. So birdie conversion rate in C2, 1 plus plus will be an attempt. The more I think about it now, I think I want to combine them. I keep flip-flopping here. I think I want to, like if you're inside of C1 in regulation, then your circle 2 in regulation conversion percentage is going to be, it's going to count for that as well. think so. Dang it. Birdie conversion rate. That'll at least make my code down here a little bit simpler. We can just calculate the birdies. I actually don't need these values then, because I just need to calculate birdies, and I'll calculate the attempts down below. All right, C2 and regulation on this hole can go away. That can go away. Birdie conversion rate 2 plus plus. Birdie conversion rate 1 plus plus, which is just incrementing. Yes. Yeah, I think so. And then that way here we can just do a, or I do still need a var in regulation. Var birdie in regulation on this hole equals false. And then under each one of these lower scores, I can just say if in regulation on this hole equals true, equals true. If in regulation on this hole, birdie conversion rate 0 plus plus. So we'll do that for all of these, still not for aces. And then at the end of every one, I'm just going to make sure that in regulation on this hole is equal to false. Okay, so now I should have the full birdie conversion rate. If in circle 2, we're incrementing that value, we're incrementing this value here, and regulation on both of those holes is set to true. And then I update the birdie conversion rate. So maybe I add a print hole birdie conversion rate. Just so I have some debugging there as well. Birdie conversion rate. All right. A lot of back and forth on that one, but I think we got it. Ratio of throws versus putts. That one is going to be fairly easy. I'm calculating putts. So var throws versus putts counter is equal to 0, 0, throws versus putts. All right, so I need to sum, because what my C1 putting, I need attempts, C1 and C2. So we're gonna go total, no, come on, throws versus putts counter is equal to 1 this is putts is equal to C1 putting. No, not that. Total C1 putting. Total C1 putting 1 plus C2 putting 1. So I'm summing the C1 and circle 2 putting attempts there. And then throws versus putts counter. 0 is going to be equal to total strokes minus that value. And so then that way they're going to both sum to that total strokes value. All right, that one's easy enough. Throws versus putts counter. All right, I think that's easy enough. Just create them way up here. Throws 0, putts is 1. We set it equal to 0. And then after running through all of the holes, 1 is equal to the total putts. 2 is equal to the total strokes, which I calculated up here for each hole, minus the putting value I just calculated. Yep. Throws versus putts round, total numbers, I added it down here. All right. Last item, overall tournament score to par. That's the one I just added, and I already have the calculation for it. I'm going to actually just slide it up here. But this is me just calculating that general score to par. And then let's actually I already have calculated single round score. Yeah, so I don't even need, I was going to say I got parse golf score. Let's go now by this that works in reverse, taking ints and back to strings. Golf score to string. All right, and then way up here, format golf score to int. And if I need to, I can do it to string as well. But I already have the user score. So I'm going to have to use a combination of the two, I think. User round score integer is what I'll be summing, and then just when I display it, I can call. At the very end, when I'm actually displaying it on the view, I can call that value. But I think I'm probably going to call it there. Another really short video. I've got all the stat calculations in now for all of these new guys. Let me go see. Individual stat calculations is done. Add to stat organization. Maybe we go do that real quick, and then I'll call it. All right, so I guess let's go down here. User round score. I really just need the integer. I don't even need to pass a new value. Stat order. And then I don't have to display them if I don't want to. Build ordered stat data. Combine stats, stat order map. Okay. All right, so let's go here and let's grab these. So these are all the guys I need to add here. static const total strokes key, static const average strokes per hole key, total putting comebacks, total putting distance counts, front 9 back 9 metric, user round score integer, birdie conversion rate key, throws versus putts counter. Yes. All right. So I've got the keys created. Here, I guess let's go copy them again down below just so I have them right there. And I was like, I feel like this is something I might guess at. Let's just tab it out and then we'll correct. Total strokes is going to be an integer. Yes. Average strokes per hole, penalty rate key. I did that as a fraction. So this will also be a fraction, even though that is not currently how I'm passing it. Get label, type, not widget factory. Was it the multi-round stats that I was looking at? Was this? Okay. That was for summing it at least. And I guess here is where I set what the graph type is going to be. Okay. I think I can make a type double. Add a type double and type history. All right, so that's going to be a double. Total putting comebacks. This is a fraction, right? Yeah, same thing as the other putting. So total putting comebacks is a fraction. Total putting distance counts will be a fraction. When I go to radial, widget factory, process data, C1 putting already includes the number of holes. So the total putting distance counts also needs to. If I'm going to display it like that. And I probably am. Maybe I just pass those right now. I'll leave it as a fraction. Front 9, back 9 metric key. I guess I will leave that one as a fraction right now. That's kind of how I'm passing it. Those are all basically the same. I'm not going to do the graphic configs yet. We're not going to create graphics for them just yet. I have that further down on my to-do list. But I think we're good there. So we've added the keys here. We've added them to our stat order. Let's save. And so the next thing to do is we're going to go update the single round calculations, which I already got most of the way there on. But we're going to have to create the map here. Should I just do that too? Stat organization, total strokes key, total strokes, stat organization dot average strokes per hole key. All right, total putting comebacks. Total putting distance counts. All right. So I've updated them there. And I think I was kind of already doing this along the way, but I think I have all my calculations. So I think single round calculations is updated. Create configs and stat organization. Do I keep going? Can always pass the fractions along with number of holes or holes played if I need them. I guess we can, I'm just going to add them all to the bottom right now. Title, total strokes. We're just going to have a 1, and it's going to be total strokes key. Like so. Average strokes per hole is a double. And I assume my card doesn't really accept that well. Does not. What other... Do I have any other good ways to quickly just display a single double? Which one am I doing? Average strokes per hole right now. I don't think so. I would need a card graphic to accept a double, which I could just do. Just whip something together real quick. I'm gonna go no icons. This is going to be a double. Double. no icon data string. We're going to get rid of that. Text value. Card for double. We're going to go card graphic for double. Here, let me open up the widget factory, and we'll just add this in here right now. Card for double. Card graphic for double. Just like so. Get rid of label 2. And we're good there. And so now I can make this card, what did I just call it? Card for double. Or no, not that one. I can do a card for double though. For double. Strokes per hole. This will be average strokes per hole key. Okay. That was maybe a little excessive, but we got it there. Total putting comebacks. That's going to be just a simple fraction as a percentage. So I'll probably, can progress bar take different values? It can. I think I call it multiple times, right? Progress bar. Length I. So it'll just, I think I can do one at a time, which will be good. So let's go up to progress bar. Add this here. And this is going to be putting comeback rate. This will be putting comeback rate. Oh. Total putting comebacks key. We'll paste that. Total putting distance counts key. What would be a good way to do that? How do I do the whole scoring segmented? Maybe I just want to do that. Do I have a whole scoring segmented bar? So let's go general segmented dart. And for right now, I'm just going to copy it, but I know I'm going to want it to be distinct. General segmented bar. Here. Overflow, segment sum, font size, graph title, container. Because I just get a list. And then I run it through a for loop. I don't specify. Don't think so. Score to color, segment, label. Yeah, that's not going to work. Here I can do the 0 to 11 feet. Where's my my scoring options here? That's what I need. Just make sure they're all structured exactly like that. 0 to 11, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get rid of that. And then here we'll go 11 to 22, 33, 44, 55, 66, 22, 33. Okay, I think that should be pretty close. And then here, total putting distance counts key. I can just pass them all individually. Let's copy this. Putting distance, or no. I need to go to the widget factory. Whole scoring segmented. And then we're going to go general segmented. General segmented bar. Yeah, that fixes the issue. Just only one instance of that. Because the receiver can be null. I use segmented here. Let's okay, I guess I'll create a new version of this. General segment data. That's what I'm going to have to pass up here and here. And then on the widget factory, I'll pass that. General segmented. Okay, and now on our stat organization, I called it general segmented. This will be putting distances, and I'm going to go It's actually not quite going to work, is it? General segmented. How do I pass? Let me go to my single round stats. Single round. When I pass aces, it is total aces and number of holes. So it is just processing them as a percentage. So that may not work. Segments. I was thinking that was going to be nice and easy, but I don't think it is. So maybe I just... On streaks, is there a limit on how many of these I'll do? I don't think so. I think on my widget factory I just... values labels. 4 values length, yeah. Alright, maybe I just pass them as streaks right now, and then I'll figure it out. I'll leave general segmented. It's not going to hurt anything at the moment, but we are going to swap this for streaks. Putting distances. Oh, but it's in an array. It's not a single value. I don't have a good graphic to... below. I'm trying to find the easy way to just show these on the screen, and hitting a wall on this one. The format of the total putting distances just doesn't, the variable type doesn't match anything that I have currently. I was hoping it would, but it does not. Because it's a single variable. It's going to have 6 items in it. And that does definitely doesn't exist for me. In what I currently have. I've got arrays of 2, which are easy because they just calculate a percentage. I have a variable that holds the number of putts attempted at each distance. Length array with length of 6. I need a I guess maybe I just go to my actual segmented. I need a graphic that looks identical to this code, but can take this new variable as an argument instead of the list of segment data in the form of makes attempts that this existing code does. All right, so let's say I take this helper, I throw it down here. Let's go here. Below is how I call the original segmented bar. How would the call need to be updated? So it should be its own code. That's what I'm kind of hearing here. Feet, 11 to 22 feet. Thank you. So I'm calling this general segmented. Okay, I mean, we can try that. Maybe that's worth a try. So we're back to copying the whole scoring segmented graphic. The type here is going to be general segmented. This is going to be putting distances. All right, and how would the below stat graphic config change to pass the single variable view type array of length 6 as opposed to the individual keys of stats here, which are each the array of makes attempts. Oh no, I see. I wanted to just copy the keys. Total putting distance counts key. All right, and then I do not want to hard code labels. Update this to receive a labels argument. It is poor practice to hard code labels and will prevent me from using it elsewhere. And then segments. And how does this update? Just labels, maybe. Okay. Long-winded, but that might work. So now I've got distance counts. Key is good. Front 9, back 9 metric. It would be fun to just show that as an integer. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Let's go single round. We've got, where's it at? Front 9, back 9 metric. I'm going to go final front 9, back 9 metric is going to be equal to front 9, back 9 metric 1 minus 0. So that way if the back 9 metric is greater, it'll be positive. I want to show it on this same C2 bonus scale. So back 9 I want it to be positive, front 9 I want it to be negative. And if this is larger, then it will be. Final front 9, back 9 metric. That's what I want to pass there. My stat organization, I need to make this an int, just like C2 bonuses. Yeah, those are good. And then where I have C2, we're going to pass this as a scale, make this nice and easy. Scale title is front 9 versus back 9. And this can be front 9, back 9 metric key. Okay. Good there. User round score integer. These last ones are going to get, we're going to get a bit dice here. Just in terms of quickly displaying them. I could, what's the next one? We can go one at a time. User round score integer. So that was me doing strokes and then showing some overall total here. Which I wonder if I just create like a card for string. Probably a little excessive, but card for string. For string. For string. String. Good to go. Widget factory. We've got card. I've got card for double. we've got card for string, card graphic for string, for string as string. All right, and then I'm just gonna pass that user round score integer key. This was actually, I think I'm thinking about this wrong. This is the one where I want the history. So that one's gonna be a new graphic, needs a brand new graphic. So card for string, I'm actually just gonna get rid of. Yeah, move that to trash. All right, so that one needs a new graphic. I'm not ready for that one yet. Birdie conversion. Got some real small colors there. Throws versus putts, I was gonna just make into a segmented. Birdie conversion rate. I could just make that two separate values. It's gonna make things a little bit easier for me immediately if I can do that. I think I probably will. All right, single round calculations. And up here, birdie conversion rate, we're gonna flip it again. Birdie conversion rate in C1. Great. Let me just take this out. All right. Birdie conversion rate in C1. Attempts. Birdie conversion rate in C2. Attempts. +1/+1. And then I need my C1 in, C2 in regulation, C1 in regulation, C2 in regulation. All right, and then down here, if C2 in regulation on this hole, birdie conversion rate in C2, 0++, if, yeah, and now I need that. In these, I did actually go update this here, right? I did. All right, and then here we'll go C2 in regulation equals false, C1 in regulation equals false. And then here, stat organization, we're gonna have a birdie conversion rate in C2 key, rate in C2, and then I need the same thing for C1, static const birdie conversion rate, big int. C1 key. And C1, and C2, and C1, fraction, and C2, and C1. So that's me updating the stat order. And C2 key and C1 key, we go back here. And C2 equals birdie conversion rate in C2, birdie conversion rate in C1, birdie conversion rate in C1. And C2. Great. Okay, so I think that's good now, and now I can just show those as percentages however I want to. Probably just use those progress bars again. So let's come down here. Is that after front 9, back 9? User round score needed a brand new graphic, that's right. Skipping that one for the moment. All right, progress bar, birdie conversion, in C2 and in C1. So here we're just gonna add those keys, birdie conversion and C2 key, birdie conversion and C1 key. Okay. So I think that's good. The throws versus putts counter, I think I can get away with making it like this. I think. General segmented. Throws versus putts. Throws versus putts counter key. And that. Now, for these stats and other stats in the future, how am I going to account for adding them mid-app usage? Because if they already have stats shown here, do I want to show them down below if I haven't even been calculating them? I shouldn't need to. That was a stupid question. The issue is going to be with the all-time stats. Because every time I pull up these views on the all stats view, I'm calculating them as it goes. So I can add stats to these views, no problem. It's just going to be when I'm in the all-time view, because I implemented the ability to update those periodically instead of calculating them all at once every single time. On the round scorecard view, where do I call? I guess it's really stat persistence. This is what I'm calling. Save all-time stats. Save, add stat totals. Streak-related stats, I'm storing max value. else I add those. Return map from new round stats for key current totals. Okay, so now back to the round scorecard view. Stat. Save all time stats. What do I call it? Add stat totals. Add stat totals. Here we go. Add stat totals, single round calculations. Okay, so maybe I can get away with return current totals, and then I just update it, and that's where I save. So the below function is intended to update my all-time statistics in C1x. Simple yes or no. Does this make sense? I like to ask it if it makes sense. I feel like that's always a good place to start. Now, let's say the user has been on the app for a while. I add a couple new stats to the app and the single round calculations function. Passing to, no, not current totals, new round stats, right? All-time stats, yeah, new round stats, being passed as new round stats, has a couple of extra arguments in it. I need the below code to be updated to account for this, and if a situation exists where there are more arguments in new round stats than in the current, they will always be added at the end. Then the same rules apply, and the starting values in place of current are set to 0. Test if all-time stats are working as intended. Do I risk just reloading? And I'm gonna encounter so many issues with this. I think I'm gonna be pretty close to stopping here. Okay, so we're definitely getting some errors. Pretty simple error though. Whoa, all right. Convert PUT attempts to segments, general segmented, 209. type double. This line and the below code that you gave me to maybe stir its memory here is throwing this error. Can it just be an int? I'm just... Let's give it a reset, give it a try. Yeah, it doesn't seem like that fixed the issue. Okay. Double is not a subtype of type int. Can I print attempts by distance here? It's got to be getting called, doesn't it? It says it's throwing an error. I can't even print it. Attempts by distance on the, let's go to the widget factory. General, convert. General segmented, and when I call it, it is throws versus putts. So it is, I guess I'm calling it up here, putting distances. I mean, it is a list of integers. What is this my issue? That's a percent though, that's not. List of segment data. List of general segment data. seems to be working. This didn't fix it. I don't understand the issue. My array is all integers. So where would a double be coming from? The argument of the function is literally a list int. Percent is a double. Percent is a double in my data model. Do not provide full solutions for a problem that I do not have. Ask first. Call passing case in a config, general segmented, which is this, stat produced here, total putting distance counts, my single round statistics. Maybe that's going to be a individual. Okay, try it. Update the segments call. What did it, just this line here? I don't know. Updating the segment call didn't help. Debug log shows double. Process data is what I'm passing. Okay, I'll try that first. Okay. Didn't throw an error at least. Now we can see how they look. Alright. Total strokes. So stuff's obviously not... I was going to say it's not calculating right, but it is. What we've got, 9, 13, 19, yeah. Okay, so we've got some stats not calculating right. But we are displaying everything, no issues. Alright, so my real to-do list here. Fix calculations for all new stats. Create a new graphic for displaying the score histogram stat. Add double and history types to multi-round calculations. Alright, verify. I guess let's cancel that. Drag all time stats down below. Add graphic for displaying total tournament round score. Test if all time stats are working. Update all graphics for displaying new stats. Create graphic for displaying C1x round grade. Alright, so we're going to have some graphics to create here. But I think I'm going to, for the most part, I've gotten a lot of these done and in the app. Ready, complete. Stat, how many rounds at each overall score. So for the most part, we have the stats in. That's going to be our new to-do list. We've got to fix some of these calculations, get the functionality into it, and then create a couple new graphics and get the display up to speed. But progress. We're getting some, definitely getting some new stats in there. So we'll get there. Oh, and then make sure tournament round score and strokes are only showing on all stats view. And I know I've already done that for, I don't have number of courses here, but in the all stats view, I do have that show up. So I know I've already implemented the only show this on the all stats view before. All right, I'm gonna call it there. We got the little Firebase logging implemented. I got the nice fun spreadsheet built today. How long has my screen capture been frozen for? Hopefully not too long. It doesn't look like it's been too long. We got this built out yesterday, or built out today. Off video, but not an unproductive day. We'll finish getting these stats put in. This is definitely proving to be a little bit more challenging than I thought it would be, but I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think, thankfully, I did spend a lot of time on that stat structure early on, and that's making this a little bit more scalable. I can add stuff, I can move it around, we can adjust graphics without really affecting what I had previously. Pretty repeatable. But yeah, this is our to-do list. Maybe I'll start to get these graphics, do the old ChatGPT, get me 80% of the way there on a couple simple graphics for these, create some functions for them, or files for them. Get some of the legwork done off video, and on video hopefully we can just hop on and fix those calculations and implement graphics and do all the more fun stuff. I'll go through the database in production mode stuff off video as well, but trying to wrap this stuff up, get the changing whole pars done so we can hop into the watch version. Still shooting for submitted for launch in like 2 weeks, which is going to be challenging. I was hoping to be starting on the watch app right now, and I probably got another 2 days before I can realistically get into it. We'll see. But I'm going to call it there for the video today at least, so that'll wrap it up for the second video. We still got lots of work to do. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.